Hi, YouTube followers. I'm here with Lisa Sanders. Hi, Lisa. How are you doing
Hi
today?
YouTube
Thanks for coming out.
followers.
She was on time. We love artists that come on time.
Yeah, unusual for an artist, I suppose.
Yes, some. But that's for all people in life. We're always late sometime. And then sometime we're on time when we need to be there, right?
Well, I
Always.
was trained to be on time by my parents because I'm one of 6 kids.
See,
And if they were picking us up, you couldn't be late because
what
the
about that?
schedule would get messed up.
That's a good headway in character. The character of an artist. How important is that for artists to have character?
Well, I think artists do have character. Everybody has a character, right? But I don't think, personally, I don't see the point in cultivating a persona of a character of the artist, personally. I think I'm a human being navigating the world. My art is a reflection of my experiences navigating the world. And I think that's enough. I mean, speaking personally, of course, I
No,
would
no,
never
no, no.
tell somebody else how to
No,
present
you
themselves.
lost me already, Lisa.
Oh,
But
no.
that's good. No, 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 no. Because we all learning. I tell people, I say, teach Tutmos. That's my spiritual name.
Ah,
So
okay.
okay. So I was talking about character in terms of being on time, being accountable. But you're
Well,
talking in terms.
accountability is important, I
Okay.
think, because I feel like I'm spending my time. Like if we make an arrangement to meet at a certain time,
Right.
it's disrespectful to you if I'm late because it upsets your schedule for the day.
Right.
And that's really, I think, where it affects my character. I feel like that's my responsibility if we make an arrangement to hold up my side of it. And it
It's
depends
a
on
it's a.
sometimes you're meeting people and you've got 15, 20 minutes
But you
leeway.
call them or you text them.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Even with a project.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
You might agree to a time on a project, and you see you can't make that time, so you call whoever you need to call and say, "Well, I don't think we're going to do it. Get it done by August. Let's talk. Maybe I might need some more time."
Exactly.
That's the kind of character I was talking about. Now,
okay.
the character you're talking about, explain more.
Well, just we are the sum of our experiences, aren't we?
Okay.
Lot. I think we're more than that, but I think that's a big part of us. So I like to think that when people meet me and we talk, I'm bringing to the table everything that's happened to me up to that
The
moment,
sum
and
total.
that's my character as well as innate qualities that I might have.
Does that mean being late?
No, innate by being things that I have, like I'm shy or
Okay.
things like that.
Okay.
Character traits you might say that maybe I was born with or I developed early on.
Right.
But those are always getting influenced by everything
okay.
and evolving, right?
Right. So, how long does that take, do you think, for us? Does that ever stop as an artist?
I hope not, because I think it's important to integrate your experiences into your being, whether I think a well-considered life is important. So if you've had an experience, good or bad, I think it's important to process that for yourself and move forward.
Right.
But it becomes a part of you.
And we need the good and bad, the duality, because
I totally agree with that.
The bad does teach us some very valuable lessons. And also, sometimes we can incorporate, well, I should say a lot of times we incorporate that in our art.
Whether we want to or not, I think sometimes we do. But I don't see, I think life is just a big, wonderful experience, and all of it is important. If we only had happy times, we wouldn't even know we were happy, right? Because we would have nothing to contrast
There's that duality, right?
Yeah. So it's all part of it, and the thing is to not let any part of it, make you too crazy, maybe.
Well, they say artists are crazy, weirdos, and all that stuff.
I don't know. I think we think a little differently. I would say that the most of the artists I know and myself, I've always been different from my peers in how I think about things or
how you see the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Your perception.
How I respond to it, how
right.
I see it, since I was like 5 years old.
Wow. I keep hearing that when I'm doing these interviews. Who is this? Bruna said the other day, she was like, she didn't realize that when she was young, she used to be in these places of solitude and spaces, writing and to herself, and she never knew it would affect the quality of her or her becoming a writer at this time. I don't remember what I did. I don't know how I came to do this. But now, how does like those dark places or the bad and the good, how is that reflected in your art? Because I've seen your art and it's very delicate and precise.
Um, it's kind of true. Um, when I start to work, I never have an idea of what it's going to look like when it's done. I just use my materials and put them together. My plan is to intuitively build, because I'm a sculptor. I like to work with manipulating actual materials as opposed to creating an illusion in a two-dimensional space like a painter might do.
Right.
Um, I just want to create something that has presence. Some people say about my work that they even seem like they could be alive, or that there's movement, like you could imagine it's in one, you caught it at one moment, but it's passing through that moment into another
Almost
moment.
like a dimension.
Yeah, it's like a snapshot, or it's not really, snapshot maybe is not really the best. But anyway.
Well, almost like a series of snapshots, right? I mean, like in
Sometimes,
terms
yeah,
of
or just
the
they're
movement.
like, to me, they're sketches of where I try to put out uh, everything that's happened to me in my life up to that moment. I just manipulate the materials until they come together in such a way that I feel that it's compelling. And I never want to make something that has one point of view where I feel like people look at it and they're going to say, "Oh, that's about that."
Right, right.
Right?
Put it in a box.
Yeah, I like people to be able to look at my work and let their imagination start to go, and their feelings. To me, feelings are very important with art. And I feel like lately in the art world, the whole emotion and feeling side of it has gotten totally swept under the rug in favor of a lot of conceptual, a lot of, there's plenty of work around now that shows you an idea, literally. But I think it's more compelling to come to a work of art and be drawn into it and go around in it in your mind and with your feelings, and sort of, that's more of an experience to me, instead of like reading a book or something where you come up to a piece and it's an illustration of an idea, you see it, you get what the idea is, and then you're done with it. It's not interesting anymore.
Boring.
Right? Exactly.
Boring.
So I hope my work is never boring, in that it's not so specific to a certain idea or anything, that whoever comes to it with whatever their experiences are, I hope they can let their imagination and their feelings roam around in it and get some impressions.
I love that. Roam around. It's almost like I'm listening to you, and it's almost like I see your art, and it's almost like my mind should just be like rolling with my cumulative experiences into your piece
I hope so.
to kind of feel, wow, where's this artist coming from? What is this artist saying?
Or hopefully, and I think it's how we're trained as viewers,
Wow.
to feel like it doesn't matter where I'm coming from. In a way, it's like, well, what do I like about it? Or, for you as the viewer, I would hope you would come to it and say, oh, I like that it's fragile, like you told me a minute ago, or I like that it's this, or I like these textures, or, I feel like it's less about me. I made it. It was important to me to make the object. Now it's for you to use.
Which is sharing.
Yeah.
Right.
However, whatever. I mean, even if you want to destroy it, I mean, that's your relationship to it, I guess, at some point. But you know what I mean. It's like, I've made it. It's out there in the world now. And I don't send them out into the world with a whole lot of preconceived ideas about how you're supposed to relate to it, what you should do with it.
And I think that goes back to what you were saying about how, a lot of artists, they put out something and they have this preconceived notions. They want to return from it, whether it's monetary or how people respond to it. And that's not really what art is really truly about.
I think it isn't. I think it's about shared experience. Like the artist puts their experience out there, and you view it, and you get touched by it. Like think about the great portraits like Rembrandt or Van Gogh. You look at those, and people see the humanity there. They don't see some
Yes.
old guy with
Right.
long hair
Right.
and old-fashioned clothing.
The shared
Why it's
experience.
so famous is because you can. It just resonates humanity.
Right. 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 Those common elements. Those common human traits.
I think really good art can do that. I don't think that's the only kind of art that should. I mean, art should be whatever it is. I think there's no quantifying on art. And I almost feel like there's no value judgment should come to art either. Like this is good art and that's bad art. It's all human expression, and either you like it or you don't like it. Either you can relate to it or you don't.
So tell me, or tell the viewers, where can people like find your art or find you on
Well, of
social
course, I'm
media?
on Facebook. I have a
Yes.
page, and
Lisa
I have my own
Sanders.
website.
Yes.
Uh,
What's that website?
it's lisa-sanders.com.
Okay.
And I'm very good about posting new work there. So if you're curious to see how it evolves, or we haven't really talked much about drawing, but I do a lot of drawing as well as sculpture. I'm very interested in the mark and movement and paper. So even my latest sculptures have incorporate some of those elements. But anyway, the viewers can see me there. Sometimes I Instagram, not as much as I probably should.
Right.
I do have a video which I posted on Vimeo, which I made, an art video.
I think I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I did watch it.
Of a friend of mine doing a Japanese style of dance called Buto. Um, those are right now. I don't have any exhibitions up. I've been sort of huddled down in my studio working a lot.
That's what artists do. Huddle, hide.
Yeah, sometimes you have to do that too. Like my work has changed a little from what I was doing, say, a year ago, and partly that's Newark's influence. But because of that, when you're working out new things, sometimes you like to keep it sort of away from view just while you figure out how you feel about it. Like, is
Right.
it done?
Right, right.
Is it a direction that I think is interesting?
So where do your ideas come from? I mean, you walk out. I said like, do you like walk down the street and an idea hit you? Well, you told me you're open. You like to be open.
Yeah, I try not to
take the
follow a certain
materials
idea. But the materials are my idea, I guess you could say. Like, I found materials that I have a relationship to: the wood, paper,
That's interesting.
string,
That's very
and they have a similarity, right? Because a lot of paper is made out of wood.
yeah.
I buy different handmade and artisanal papers, and I tear them up and join them together like collage, like handmade papers.
Okay. All right.
So that they already have a presence that regular paper that you might use in your printer doesn't have.
Now, is that an energetic presence, do you think?
Yes, definitely. It's definitely an important presence in the world. What we feel about paper, how we've used it, what we know about it, and then what I do with it. That all is important there, because I'm talking about that's a vocabulary we have, the vocabulary of paper, and our experiences with paper. So one small element of my work is showing what paper could be and other ways to think about paper, maybe. And maybe for some of its purely physical elements, it has usually a kind of a dry surface.
Mm-hmm.
It has texture usually of some sort, and I play with the different textures a lot and the different fiber contents, because sometimes paper has a lot of visible fibers, handmade papers. Sometimes they don't. They're more like regular paper that we're used to.
So it gives everything. It gives your final piece a different feel.
Everyone is unique. Yeah. And the combination of the ingredients is unique. And I layer them a little bit with acid-free glue. And when it dries clear, but it gives them a little body so that I can work with them, and they don't. They retain their. You know how paper kind of, if you crush it or something, it still has a geometric quality to it with the folds. So the glue just helps it stay in that form. So it's like parchment, maybe paper, a little stiffer, but still all of the qualities of paper.
And when did you like really know you were an artist? I mean, when did this start happening to you? Like that you knew you were so interested in these different shapes and you can create.
Probably, probably around the time I was like 13 or 14, I knew I was very interested in art. And then I did go to, I did study art for my first year of college. I couldn't quite decide on what I wanted to do. So then I went to Europe and I spent 4 years living in Europe. And sort of, I think of that as like my finishing school sometimes. And what I mostly got from that, I mean, I know a lot about the places I lived. I lived in London and Paris, but it also helped me to see my own culture much better because you're seeing it through other people's eyes, right?
Yes, yes, that's a
So
very important point.
I pursued art when I was over there a lot, took classes and whatnot. But then when I came back, I didn't have the confidence that I could make a living as an artist, so I went into fashion design, which I also had a talent for apparently. And I worked for 20 years in fashion design. But I always, part of me was interested still in art. And,
So it really called you back?
yeah, it called me